You spent countless hours analyzing the moment they left, replaying scenes in your mind, searching for clues you missed, wondering what you could have done differently. You've turned their departure into a life sentence, carrying it like a badge of unworthiness. But here's what they never told you. Their leaving wasn't about your inadequacy. It was about their inability to handle your evolution. They didn't walk away from your weakness. They fled from the strength they could sense awakening within you. What felt like rejection was actually the universe's way of staging your resurrection. Have you ever felt the piercing ache of being left behind? That raw, gnawing emptiness when someone walks away, leaving you with nothing but questions and self-doubt? When betrayal cuts so deep that even breathing feels like an act of defiance. You're not alone. Right now in this very room, there are hearts still healing from abandonment, minds still wrestling with rejection, and spirits yearning to rise above the pain of being discarded. We've all been there, standing in the wreckage of what once was, wondering how to rebuild from the ashes of broken promises and shattered trust. They didn't walk away from your weakness. They walked away from your untapped power. They didn't abandon a failure. They abandoned a force of nature that was yet to be unleashed. The truth about being left behind is both brutal and beautiful. When someone walks away, they create a vacuum, an empty space that feels like punishment, but is actually an invitation to rediscover who you are without the weight of their expectations. An invitation to rebuild yourself, not according to someone else's blueprint, but according to your own divine design. Think back to that moment when you realized they were gone. Remember how your world stopped spinning for a moment? How the future you had planned suddenly evaporated like morning mist? That moment, that exact moment of devastating clarity, was also the beginning of your liberation. Though you couldn't see it then, that ending was your beginning. You see, being left behind is not a statement about your worth. It's a statement about the limited vision of those who couldn't see your magnificence. It's like being a diamond discarded by someone who only valued glass. Their inability to recognize your worth doesn't diminish your value. It merely reveals their inability to recognize true treasure. Let me tell you something that might shake you to your core. Every person who has ever achieved greatness was at some point left behind, overlooked, or discarded. The difference between those who crumble and those who soar lies not in the intensity of their pain, but in what they choose to do with it. When someone walks away, they leave behind a gift, though it may not feel like one at first. They leave you with a choice. You can either become what they thought you were, or you can become what you know you are capable of being. This choice, this precise moment of decision, is where your true power lies. Consider the bamboo tree. For years after being planted, it shows no visible signs of growth above ground, yet beneath the surface, it's developing an intricate root system that will eventually support its rapid ascent. When it finally breaks through, it can grow up to 3 feet in a single day. Those who planted it and walked away, declaring it a failure, missed the miracle that was developing in the darkness. You are that bamboo tree. The period after being left behind might feel like stagnation, like nothing is happening, like you're stuck in the dirt of your circumstances, but beneath the surface, in the depths of your being, something magnificent is taking root. Every tear you've shed is watering the soil of your future success. Every moment of doubt is strengthening your resolve. Every sleepless night is preparing you for the dawn of your rebirth. The people who left you are simply clearing the path for what's meant to. But let's be honest, this isn't just about proving them wrong. If revenge is your only motivation, you're still letting them control your narrative. This is about proving yourself right. This is about vindicating that quiet voice inside you. Take a moment right now. Close your eyes and feel the weight of all the labels they put on you. Feel the burden of their dismissal, their doubt, their departure. Now, one by one, let them fall away. They were never yours to carry. They were simply borrowed beliefs that you mistook for truth. They didn't leave you because you weren't enough. They left because you were too much potential, too much power, too much light. They left because your greatness demanded a level of growth they weren't ready for. Your authenticity triggered their insecurity. Your growth highlighted their stagnation. Your light illuminated their shadows. And rather than face their own reflection in the mirror of your becoming, they chose to walk away. But here's where the magic happens. Here's where your story takes the turn that they never saw coming. The very qualities that made them leave are the same qualities that will attract people who are ready for someone exactly like you. The authenticity that made them uncomfortable will draw in souls who have been yearning for someone real. The growth that intimidated them will inspire others to reach for their own heights. You see, when someone leaves you, they create space. Space that might feel like a void at first, but is actually fertile ground for new possibilities. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the universe has a wonderful way of filling empty spaces with something better than what was lost. Think about a forest after a fire. The devastation appears complete, the loss total, but from the ashes, new life emerges stronger, more vibrant, more resilient than before. The fire that destroyed the old growth also cleared the way for new beginnings. Your pain, your loss, your abandonment. These are the fires that clear the path for your renewal. You're probably wondering how to turn this pain into power, how to transform abandonment into achievement. The answer lies not in what you do, but in how you see yourself from this moment forward. Every morning when you look in the mirror, you're facing a choice. Will you see the person they left behind, or will you see the phoenix rising from the ashes? Will you nurse the wound of their departure, or will you nourish the seed of your potential? Let me share something with you that might change your perspective forever. The universe has a peculiar way of removing people from your life when they no longer serve your highest good. Sometimes what feels like abandonment is actually divine intervention. What feels like rejection is actually redirection. Think about times in your life when something fell apart, and later, maybe months, maybe years later, you understood why it had to happen. Those moments when you finally saw that what you thought was a breakdown was actually a breakthrough in disguise. That person who left you, they might have been a barrier disguised as a blessing. Their presence in your life might have been keeping you from becoming who you were meant to be. Their departure might have been the universe's way of saying, now is your time. But here's where most people get stuck. They spend their energy trying to understand why it happened. They waste precious time attempting to make sense of someone else's choices. They exhaust themselves seeking closure from people who aren't capable of providing. The truth is, closure doesn't come from understanding why they left. Closure comes from understanding that their leaving has nothing to do with your worth. It comes from recognizing that their departure was not the end of your story. It was the end of their role in your story. How many hours have you spent replaying their words in your mind? How many times have you rewritten the script of what you could have done differently? How many dreams have you postponed because their departure made you doubt your capabilities? Now imagine taking all that energy, all that mental and emotional investment, and redirecting it toward your own growth. Imagine channeling every ounce of pain into purpose, every moment of loneliness into self-discovery, every tear into determination. You see, the people who leave us become unwitting architects of our transformation. Their departure creates the chaos from which we can rebuild ourselves according to our own design. They leave us with a gift they never intended to give, the freedom to become who we truly are without the constraints of their expectations. But this transformation doesn't happen automatically. It requires a conscious decision on your part, a decision to stop waiting for validation from those who couldn't see your value, a decision to stop seeking approval from those who couldn't, a decision to stop diminishing your light to make others comfortable with their darkness. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice to make. Will you remain in the story they wrote for you, or will you begin writing your own? Will you stay frozen in the chapter where they left, or will you turn the page and start a new one? The most powerful realization you can come to is this: their leaving was not your ending. It was your beginning. Their rejection was not your defeat. It was your call to arms. Their abandonment was not your failure. It was your freedom. Think about a sword being forged. The metal must endure intense heat, repeated hammering, and extreme pressure. To an observer, it might look like destruction. But the blacksmith knows that each strike, each flame, each moment of pressure is essential to creating something strong and beautiful. You are that sword in the making. The heat of their betrayal, the hammering of their words, the pressure of their departure. These are not destroying you. They are forging you. They are transforming you from raw material into a masterpiece. But here's what makes this journey particularly challenging. Society has programmed us to view abandonment as shame. We're taught to hide our wounds, to minimize our pain, to pretend we're over it before we've actually healed. This pretense of being fine when we're still hurting does more damage than the original one. It forces us to deny our authentic experience. It prevents us from accessing the wisdom that only pain can teach us. It keeps us stuck in a cycle of superficial healing. The truth is, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to admit that their leaving hurt you deeply. It's okay to acknowledge that part of you is still healing. What's not okay is to let their departure define your destiny. The same power that humbled you will be the power that elevates you. The same experience that broke you will be the experience that makes you unbreakable. The same pain that threatened to destroy you will be the pain that transforms you. Let's talk about something that might feel uncomfortable at first. Let's talk about gratitude, not for the good times, but for the abandonment itself. Yes, you heard that right. What if, instead of cursing the darkness they left behind, you could thank them for forcing you into the light? This isn't about forgetting what happened. It's not about excusing their behavior. It's about recognizing that their actions, however painful, set in motion a chain of events that will lead you to your true destiny. Every great story of transformation begins with loss. Every powerful testimony starts with a trial. Every breakthrough follows a breakdown. By leaving you, they unknowingly nominated you for your own hero's journey. Take a deep breath. Feel the weight of resentment you've been carrying. Feel how it's been holding you back, keeping you tethered to the past, preventing you from moving forward with full force. Now imagine what you could achieve if you channeled all that energy into your own. The most liberating truth you'll ever embrace is this. They didn't break you. They broke the shell that was keeping you small. They didn't ruin your life. They ruined the illusion that your worth depends on their presence. Consider the butterfly emerging from its cocoon. If someone were to help by cutting open the cocoon, thinking they're being kind, they would actually condemn the butterfly to death. It's a struggle of breaking free that forces fluid into the butterfly's wings, making them strong enough for flight. Your struggle now, this painful period of emergence, is strengthening you for flight. The resistance you're facing is not your enemy. It's your trainer. The pain you're experiencing is not your punishment. It's your preparation. But people get stuck. They wait for permission to rise. They wait for an apology that may never come. They wait for recognition from the very people who couldn't see their worth in the first place. Stop waiting. Your permission to rise comes from within. Your validation comes from your own heart. Your worth is inherent. It was never theirs to give or take away. Think about how much energy you spent trying to understand their actions. How many nights you've lost sleep trying to make sense of their choices. How many opportunities you've missed while waiting for them to realize their mistake. Now imagine redirecting all that energy toward your own growth. Imagine channeling all that emotional investment into your own development. Imagine using all that mental space for creating your future instead of reliving your past. The truth about healing is that it doesn't happen in hiding. It happens in action. It happens when you dare to step out of the shadow of abandonment and into the light of possibility. It happens when you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I create from this? Your healing isn't just about getting over them. It's about getting into yourself. It's about rediscovering the parts of you that got lost in trying to keep them. It's about reclaiming the dreams you set aside to fit into their vision of who you should be. But let's be real. This journey isn't easy. There will be days when the pain feels fresh again. Days when doubt creeps back in. Days when the temptation to shrink back into your old self feels overwhelming. These moments aren't setbacks. They're set up for comebacks. They're not signs of weakness. They're opportunities to prove your strength. They're not reminders of what you lost. They're invitations to discover what you're capable of gaining. They gave you the gift of necessity. The necessity to become self-sufficient. The necessity to build inner strength. The necessity to discover who you are without their influence. Think about a tree that grows on the edge of a cliff. It faces harsh winds and challenging conditions, but these very challenges force it to grow deeper roots and develop stronger branches than the trees in sheltered valleys. That's you right now, growing stronger because of, not despite, the harsh conditions. Your soul knew what it needed for growth, even if your heart wasn't ready for the lesson. Your spirit understood that sometimes the only way to reach your highest potential is to be stripped of everything that's keeping you comfortable in mediocrity. But here's the part that might surprise you. The moment you truly embrace this perspective, the moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a volunteer for transformation, is the moment your entire reality will shift. There comes a point in every journey of transformation where you must make a fundamental choice. Will you remain forever defined by who left you, or will you become defined by who you choose to be in spite of their leaving? The answer to this question will determine not just your future, but the very quality of your present moment. It will influence not just what you achieve, but who you become in the process of achieving it. Let me share something profound that most people never realize. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your decisions. Not the decisions you make with your lips, but the decisions you make with your actions. Not the promises you make to others, but the promises you keep to yourself. Every morning when you open your eyes, you're making a decision. Every time you choose to get up despite feeling broken, you're making a decision. Every moment you choose hope over bitterness, growth over stagnation, possibility over pain, you're making a decision that shapes your destiny. But these decisions must come from a place of self-love and not self-loathing, from a desire to grow, not a need to prove, from an intention to thrive, not just survive. The energy behind your actions matters as much as the actions themselves. Think about water for a moment. In its liquid form, it takes the shape of whatever contains it. But when it freezes, it becomes solid, taking its own shape and even breaking containers that try to restrict it. That's what this transformation is about. Moving from a state where you conform to others' expectations to a state where you break free and take your own form. The most powerful form of revenge isn't getting even. It's getting better. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's not about showing them what they lost. It's about discovering what you've gained. You see, when someone leaves you, they create a space. The space feels like a void at first, an emptiness that aches to be filled. But what if this space isn't empty at all? What if it's actually full of possibilities that couldn't exist while they were there? Said that your every great invention came from a need. Every breakthrough emerged from a breakdown. Every revolution started because the status quo was no longer acceptable. Your pain, your abandonment, your loss, these are not your endpoints. They are your starting points. But here's where you need to be brutally honest with yourself. Are you still letting their opinion of you matter more than your opinion of yourself? Are you still measuring your worth by their standards rather than your own? Are you still living in reaction to their leaving rather than in creation of your becoming? The truth is, as long as you're trying to prove something to them, they still have power over you. As long as you're making decisions based on what they might think, they're still controlling your narrative. As long as you're waiting for them to regret leaving you, you're not fully embracing the freedom their departure gave you. Real power comes when you stop trying to make them regret leaving and start making yourself grateful they did. When you stop seeing their departure as something that happened to you and start seeing it as something that happened for you. Think about all the times in your life when what you thought you wanted wasn't actually what you needed. All the times when what looked like an ending turned out to be a beginning. All the times when what felt like rejection was actually protection. The people who left you were not your destination. They were your transportation. They carried you to a certain point in your journey, and when their role was complete, they exited. Their departure wasn't a reflection of your worth. It was a direction for your growth. But growth requires more than just time. It requires intention. It requires a conscious decision to stop living in the story of what was done to you and start writing the story of what you're doing with it. It requires the courage to stop asking, why me? And start asking, what next? The most profound transformation happens when you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start seeing yourself as a creator of circumstance. When you stop trying to heal so you can move on and start moving on so you can heal. Look around this room. Every person here has a story of being left behind, of being underestimated, of being discarded. But what separates those who thrive from those who merely survive is their ability to turn their wounds into wisdom, their scars into stars, their pain into purpose. The time has come to stop waiting for closure and start creating openings. Stop waiting for apologies and start accepting opportunities. Stop waiting for recognition and start generating results. Your life is not a waiting room. The same fire that melts butter hardens steel. The same wind that extinguishes a candle spreads a wildfire. The same situation that breaks one person can become the breakthrough another person needs. The difference lies not in the intensity of the challenge, but in your response to it. You are not the sum of who left you. You are the product of who you choose to become. Because they left, you are not defined by their departure. You are defined by your determination. You are not measured by their absence. You are measured by your advance. The greatest gift you can give yourself right now is permission. Permission to stop looking back. Permission to stop seeking validation. Permission to stop diminishing your light. Permission to be unapologetically, authentically, magnificently you. Your future is not behind you, where they left. Your future is ahead of you, where your courage leads. Your destiny is not in the hands of those who walked away. It's in the steps you take forward, in the dreams you dare to pursue, in the person you dare to become. This is your moment of decision. Will you remain in the shadow of what was, or will you step into the light of what could be? Will you stay trapped in the story of their leaving, or will you become the author of your own arrival? The time has come to turn the page, to stop being the character in someone else's story and become the author of your own. To stop being defined by who left you and start being defined by who you're becoming. Let today be the day you make that decision. Let this moment be the turning point where you stop waiting for life to happen to you and start happening to life. Let this be the time when you finally understand that their leaving wasn't your ending, it was your beginning. They didn't leave you because you weren't enough. They left you because you were always meant for more than they could handle, more than they could understand, more than they could imagine. And now as you stand at this crossroads, you have a choice to make. You can choose to remain forever the person they left behind, or you can choose to become the person you were always meant to be. You can choose to live in the shadow of their departure, or you can choose to step into the light of your own becoming. The choice is yours. The time is now. The person you're meant to become is waiting. And one day, perhaps sooner than you think, you'll look back on this moment of pain and realize it was also the moment of your greatest transformation. You'll understand that what felt like abandonment was actually advancement. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. What seemed like an ending was actually your beginning, because in the end, they didn't break you. They broke open the shell that was keeping you small. They didn't destroy you. They destroyed the barriers that were holding you back. They didn't end your story. They simply ended their chapter in it. So stand tall, stand proud, stand in the knowledge that your worth was never in their hands to begin with. Your power was never theirs to take away. Your light was never theirs to dime. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become because of what happened to you. And that choice, that magnificent, life-altering choice, begins right here, right now. Rise. Your time has come.